Standard press conference. I know you're very, very busy, and thanks ever so much for coming along today. We understand that not every press conference is actually occurring. Some of them have been cancelled. This would have never happened with us, even if it was snowing outside. There you go. Hope you like this stand, despite the fact that it was trying to soak us all morning. In a minute, Jan-Erik Vitalo, the founder of Axopar, standing to my right, will talk about the next generation of Axopar, the dawn of a new revolution, and also, of course, the new Brabber Shadow 500 cabin version, which is going to be launched in Monaco in just under 2 weeks' time. So just before I hand over, just a couple of things to go through. We are going to conduct sea trials throughout the show. We have the Brabber Shadow 500 Black Ops, the Axopar 28 cabin, and of course the 37 T-top. So if you could just liaise with myself and Adam, my colleague standing over there, to book a time. We're doing it slightly differently. It does need to be planned a little bit more than was the case last year. We've also got another main event tomorrow, which is our press party. We started that last year, and I think everyone enjoyed it. It's going to be right here on the stand again at 5 p.m, where you can equate or indeed re-equate yourself, as indeed I will at that time, with the legendary Finnish gin, the Napua. So plenty of gin and tonics. More liquid, therefore, flowing tomorrow than has been the case today. But at 4 p.m, an hour before the party starts, we've arranged an exclusive opportunity to see the all-new Axopar range actually in action, out on the water. Again, can you speak to me or Adam if you would like to be, or would like to get involved with that tomorrow, before you go, ideally, onto your next press call. And finally, make sure you pick up your press pack and the gift, all in little black bags over there, again down by Adam. I have to say journalists only. Publishers and advertising people, well, you're just going to have to simply negotiate.
Who wants to show, who wants to get acquaintance on our products, because now we are size division. So that if you are interested in both 10 meters to 15 meters, you know that this is the place to go. So we're happy for that. We have a bigger space, and also, of course, sorry to say, we can only utilize 1/3 of that space. 2/3 are on the outside, on the private docks. But I hope we find ourselves cozy here today, still, in the rain. So, yeah, we're here today. We wanted to share something about the future of Axopar and what we've been doing for the last year. Also, before I go into the presentation, I also would want to introduce you to a new colleague that joined the team actually a few days ago, Anna Sandgren. So I just want to give her a warm welcome into the team. Yeah, we look forward for doing great new, hopefully stuff that everybody will love, but we will try to take, let's say, media and marketing communications into the next level for a boatyard, and probably also, you know, let's see what the whole concept develops. So you will see the first results within 3 months in Düsseldorf, and then after that during the whole summer. So stay tuned on that. So, 1 year on board Axopar. Hopefully all screens are shown, yes. So, I just want to give you a very short introduction and a short insight on the present that we've been doing with Axopar. But probably the most reason we are here is also to talk about the future and what we are actually thinking of doing for the next years to come. So, going very shortly in, we have today produced over 2,000 boats since the launch of Axopar in 2014. So that's a very good milestone for us to achieve. We have over 500 boats on order for the season of 2020, which is also very exciting for us to know, especially in this situation where, let's say, we see the market not slowing down, but let's say, call it in a word, stabilizing. We have also grown our dealership networks into 95 dealerships all around the world with 45 countries. So we are now in 6 continents in total and growing. The reason why we're not hit the 100 mark yet is more or less just because we have a limitation on production capacity. So we haven't been able to produce enough boats in order to get more dealers. We want our current dealers to get the products because they have been sharing the success of Axopar since day one, and we want this to be there. We want to provide them this, let's say, the honor of, wrong word again, Finnish, running into English, but giving them the possibility to do more business because they still were the ones setting this business up in the first place. What you will see in the future of Axopar is that we have already become a different company. Only 2 years ago, the company was run by, let's say, 5-6 people. Today, we have our own staff, and remind you, we don't produce own boats except for the Brabus Marine products. We already have ourselves an own staff of over 100 people, just through these last 2 years, 2-3 years. We are focused, of course, the main business is always being taken care of in Poland, where we have 80 people of our own staff working in logistics and everything surrounding, let's say, the supply of a boat. But Helsinki is the administrative center, and Vaasa is the center for, let's say, branding, marketing, new products, and new concepts. So we've divided into 3 different places, and we're getting more and more nationalities. So we have people from Sweden, Ireland, from Germany. We're having people coming from also through the team working through France, Finland, Poland. So we're getting a good nationality of people, and of course also the background of these people helps us in the future development of products. Also, one thing in the boating industry at this moment, and also something that the car industry is struggling with, is that we want to create better products. We want to create better boats. And there is a very fine line when we cross the border of making the products too complex, so that they will be prone to warranty issues, after-sales issues, or the number one, which is the most crucial for Axopar, is the price. That we increase the quality of our product, we increase the engineering going into the products. If we don't do this in a smart way, we will end up with a product that costs more. And especially in these times when we see again the market stabilizing a bit, cost and price point is one of the key issues for a new customer to enter into the boating segment. So we're also happy to announce that we have now started a partnership with a new production provider. So we're expecting a future capacity increase of, let's say, 300 to 400 boats in a year from this facility, and it is located in the northern part of Poland. So we're still staying and keeping true to our production being all done in Poland at the moment. We already have the first test batch of 10 boats, and the boat number 1 already ready. So this is already a development that is up and running. One thing which is interesting also to see, the Axopars is getting more and more attention by professional charter companies. So if you go on social media today and you start to have a look around, you will see our boats being used quite extensively in charter business anywhere around the world. There's no difference if we are on the, in Asia or if we are in United States areas. We have a lot of charter companies, which is really fun for us to know that people have found the concept of Axopar and the concept of day boating, so we're happy about that. Also, what we're seeing increasingly in numbers about Axopars is that our boats are being more and more used as chase boats. So probably even the word tender is wrong in this sentence. We would be more talking about the chase boat, where the owners want to have their own time on a smaller vessel. They want to have the accessibility of driving. Just a good example, spending 1 week in Italy in mid-season August, try to come into port with anything bigger than 28 or 37 foot, you're absolutely screwed, sorry. There's bookings made for 5, 6, 7 months forward. So if you ever want to just stop by a lunch in a nice place, these are the vessels that you actually accommodate you and do this possible for you. So, just in all, very short, how do we see the world moving? So we see a new trend arising, and we see people more careful and cautious about their most precious commodity, their time. So everywhere we go with an Axopar, or where we see an Axopar boat being used, the owners want the boats to create them more, or do more things for them. So we see a change. I use this word, that emotions fuel experiences, experiences fuel emotions. So we see people that get into or get caught into the boating industry. They are actually after the emotions of boating. They are for the experience. But at the same time, they also need to ask themselves, what's the cost of this? Because the time is the most precious commodity, and people will start asking, do I want to do something else than boating? So why I'm talking about this so long is that actually what we've seen is that our customers are starting to utilize our products in a completely different way than you were using a boat, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago. The boat itself is no longer the thing that enables you to get these emotions. It's a vessel that gets you to these emotions. And we see people stacking up mountain bikes, hiking gear, scuba gear, snorkeling gear, stand-up paddle boards, everything, because and joining the boating not only anymore by 2 persons on board, but you're bringing your friends, you're bringing your family, and you want to have a very nice day out at the sea and experience different stuff. So the boating and the boat itself is no longer the key reason why you go boating. And this is also quite fun to see, because I believe there is a future in this. If we only try to sell boats and if we only try to promote boats, we will have a hard time gaining new boaters. So the experience is the number one. So it's all about meeting the new trend on the water. And yeah, as I said, how can you meet a new trend whilst fighting complexity in production? How can you maximize the user experience on a boat today? You know, we need to think about new things, and that's what we've done with this next project. So, for some reason I don't get a video. So, Düsseldorf 2020 will show you the neuen revolution. Why are we so bold in these statements? This is something that making these statements, I was at the same time excited, and at the same time I was very afraid, because now we're talking to marine journalists and professionals. So I want to be a guy that never bullshits, but still want to say straight what we are actually doing, because there is a Finnish mentality of not probably saying too much of yourself and letting other people experience it. But now we feel with this product we really need to push the knowledge of what we've done with the next generation of products. So we're calling it the Revolution. What type of model could this be? It's a model that revolutionized the boating industry the day one it came to the market. This was in 2016, and it's been the backbone of our company, and it's been the backbone of the whole success of the company. So we have a lot of products in line for the future. And when we lined up all the concepts in one long row and we put them on a timeline in terms of feasibility and also when we want to launch a certain project, we just went back that, holy shit, there's something we need to do with our current lineup, because we know we did good, but we know from the past experience of already doing the second generation of the 28s and already doing the 24s and the 37s, we know that there is a vast amount of knowledge and experience that we have gathered from customers, all around the world, where we have analyzed and talked to them straight about how they use their products, what are the key elements, what are the factors they actually love on our products while they are on board of the boat, and giving us a thought of how can we make this better. What we did, which nobody actually expected, as nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, it's already one item. We completely rebuilt the 37, only 4 years into its production. While it's still selling, while we still can make more, because this is just the company we are, because going back to the emotions and the experiences, and following the trend and how we can become strong in a very competitive market. And just going around the docks in Cannes, this week you will see 5, 6, 8, 10 new boat builders going and having a glimpse at the same type of boating, similar type of boating. I'm not saying they are straight on competitors, but we see there is a movement in this sector, clearly at the moment. We still have a benefit and we still have an edge, which is the pricing. Because many of these cool boats you see on the docks starts from 1 million, starts from 800,000 euros, starts even from 500,000 euros, which is in this industry still considered cheap. But when we start our products from 220, we are in a completely different world. Also, again, trying to get new boaters into this size range of products. So we have made 3 distinctive models of the Axopar range, all in their own genre set to meet the new trends on the water. So we are proud to present to you what we will be launching in Düsseldorf in 2020, the Axopar 37 range of products, which will consist out of 3 models. The first one being a 37 Spider. We're still fighting on the name. But we would want to call this the boat that challenges the driver's thoughts. We would still want to say that this is a boat that is not all about performance and handling. We see some newcomers on the market coming and full on attacking performance and handling. And that is something I know that people will love for 1 hour, 2 hours. And when that's done, that's the experience on the water over for them. So we need more versatile products. We need multifunctional social areas. We need onboard things on board that actually works and makes it into a complete experience. So we are happy to promote now for you the 37 Spider, which is a boat made for, let's say, more sportier driving, more open air feeling. We don't want to put a roof on this boat, but when you put it on anchor, you will of course have the canopies or biminis and you will be protected from the sun. But whilst you are driving, the 1 or 2 hours, usually in general, when we ask an owner how long does the actual driving take, it's 2 hours, 1 hour. So we wanted to bring really a driver's boat, and this is the 37 with the driver. So again, an ultimate driving experience. The 37 Santo has become a trendsetter in a way that this is the boat we see mostly used as the super yacht tenders or chase boats. This is the boat we most see in the charter because this has the sun protection. This has a bit more accommodation in terms of sun protection and let's say social living on board. but it's now also fully loaded with new functionalities and creature comforts, which we will tell you more about later, and of course everything is in a press pack. What we want to call this the adventure boat. Also what we did, because you need to understand that this product is responsible for 50% of the sales of the whole 37 range. These are current cabin models. And we were thinking, what can we do with the cabin so that it's no longer, let's say, a standard cabin boat? So we're actually now talking about having the first crossover cabin boat. So we're calling it cross cabin. This is not a conventional cabin boat anymore. This is by design, by functionality, by comfort, both inside and outside, combined with the modularity of you can have the aft cabin storages, wet bars, whatever. This creates a new line of product, all in all. Where you still want to have a fully open boat, you've been on the current 37s with the canvas roofs open, with the doors open, it's an open boat. But the first second the rain comes, you close them, you're in a fully enclosed boat. So, again, a bit bold statement. I will come to the facts why we call these bold statements, and we want you to experience this also later on. So one thing which we haven't seen on a boat ever, and we call it the unique technical first and the unseen innovations, is a gullwing door concept we developed together with our design studio Ivan for 37s, all based on customer feedback. So we created a space that brings the outdoors indoors, or the most important thing, the indoors outdoors. So this was one of the key issues when we were talking to a 37 customer. How much do you use the front cabin? Because every single boat has a front cabin. It's natural. We actually have got customers asking us in Monaco on the yacht shows that can we remove the front cabin because there's absolute zero use for a front cabin. And we just made the basic questions, why? Because when I have my family on board and they are on the deck with my children, I still need to go under, to be protected from the sun. I still want to be out of the wind for 1 or 2 hours. But if I go in the front cabin, I'm completely secluded from every life outboard. I'm locking myself into a box. So this was, how can we come around this idea? And this was just a simple result out of this, creating a completely new space experience. Because now, when you're sitting inside, you still have the air flowing in, you still have the sun in your face if you want to, and you still hear the talks, and you can still actually sit around the gullwing door openings and talk to people actually sitting inside. So we're quite excited about this new feature. And also it looks quite good. Also, I will go a bit shorter on this. So we have new trends. And what we were talking about, that people bring a lot of gear with them. So we need to be able to create a product with sociable deck spaces. We need to have different layouts for different customers because the boats are being used all around the world. For us in production, fighting the complexity is always based on that we need a base product. We need a product that is 80% always identical because that is one point that keeps the price point on our product. But with the last 20%, we change the product into what the customer needs in their region. Whether it be a cabin boat with an aft cabin or an open boat without roof, anything with a storage solution. So this is a good example of what the 37 concept was strong on before and what we hope to be even stronger on in the future. We have 3 different areas on the boats. We have the bow, we have the central console cockpit area, and we always have the aft part of the boat. And now we have new features that, let's say, bring even more the usability and the practicality of these toys and things you need to bring with you on the new boats. So, for example, one good example is this is a new option for the 37, which is a storage hatch. All the sun platform you're seeing is just one huge hatch that you lift up, and you can store your mountain bikes, the scuba gear, snorkeling gear, stand-up paddling boards, whatever, inside, dry, out of the elements, and out from being in your way. Because every single Axopar we see, they have supports on the roof, they have mountain bikes on the sidewalks, they have full of gear everywhere, because this is just what they want to do. Also the same thing again, what one part made Axopar strong is the modularity, so people can change what they want on their products, anything from standard open back to a wet bar, storage compartment, or the off cabin. So we want to say that this one boat just got a whole lot better. Why? Boating is all about experience, and the one key element the 37 was very, very good at, in our opinion, and hopefully yours, is the drivability. And this is something we never wanted to jeopardize. And now when we have done 4 or 5 hulls of the Axopars already in terms of hydrodynamics, this has been vastly improved. So we wanted a boat that is even more responsive to the driving, but at the same time we wanted it even better in fuel economy, and we wanted the boat to still handle cruising speeds in a very good manner, but to lift the cruising speed limits. So that we would want to say that when you were driving before in the past the cruising speed of 20 knots, the Axopar 37 came around, you started doing 30, 32, 35 knots. With this new 37, you can even do the same type of cruising in 40, 45 even. This just depends on what type of power you're having on the boat. Because we wanted to make a safe hull that handles these type of speeds, where you can still give the helm to anyone and don't happen that much, let's say, surprising things when you're behind the wheel. So it's exactly the same shape. Sorry, the 37 is exactly the same size as the old one. So we haven't changed the width, we haven't changed the length, but everything else is completely different. The shape of the hull, the placement of spray rails, the negative chines, the size of the spray, the steps, the dimensions of the steps, how we channel the water and air into these steps. So everything is changed, just all in all, to make that driver experience even more enjoyable. But this can't be done just by fun and games anymore. We started the first 28 more or less like with handshakes. But now with the new one, we really wanted to focus on how can we make this product good. And that is just by the countless R&D hours. Because if we don't do this in the R&D, we will never do it in production. So this needs to be all post-production. All right? So, pricing on the new 37 is going to be interesting. We are talking about the price increase from the current 37 around 5 to 8% more expensive. But also when you get a chance to see the boat real life, you will see that this boat in terms of volume on board is much bigger than the current 37. Again, without increasing the size of the hull at all. So we have really been scratching our heads on how can we use more space on board. How can we take off more air, like they did with the iPhone. Just how can we use this space more for the social living on board. Also, we show now all the boats with the camel wrapping. Why? Well, one thing is the boat is going to be launched in Düsseldorf, so we don't want to show everything at once. But also, the one thing is that this is actually an option you will be able to buy from the factory. So people wanting to drive the Revolution Camel will be able to do that, because we think that's a quite cool way of making a statement on the water. So I will go also very shortly into what we've been doing with Brabus Marine. So we launched in Düsseldorf this year the Shadow 28 or Shadow 500. We have 2 boats here on the show today, which one will be available for sea trials. Very fast performer. If you haven't driven this yet, you absolutely need to go and have a test drive with this one. This is one quite fun kit to drive for a 28-footer. So what's next? We will be launching in Monaco 2 weeks from now the Shadow 500 cabin version. because we feel that there is a strong demand for small 28-foot cabin boats also being used as chase and tenders on the bigger yachts. And actually just going into Monaco, you will see 3 or 4 cabin 28s going in and out of the harbor any day for us today. So we will be launching the limited Black Ops edition in Monaco. It's going to be quite a daunting looking 28-foot performer. It's going to be equipped with the same engine, so the new V8 engines, Pro XS engines, 250 each. And also we're going to do a gel-coated version, the non-limited edition, which is going to be available in 3 different gel coat colors. The same way with terms of modularity. And in terms of price, the Shadow 500 is now, you need to understand the Shadows are always fully equipped from the factory. So more or less any conceivable option is already standard. The engines are there, everything is loaded on the boat. The only thing we leave out are the customer specified options they would want to have on the product. So we want to invite you to drive the Shadow 500. Just set up with Mike or Adam for a time for that. Thank you. I will be going into some short, interesting things. We have started a cooperation with Simrad. Why do we do it? Again, going into the same thing we're talking about, experiences. And the one thing a new boat owner usually gets afraid of is getting behind the wheel of a new boat. Why? 5 screens, 15 things that goes blah, blah, and you have 3, 4, 5 joysticks you need to pull and pull to drive a boat. So we want the future boats to look like this. This is the actual dashboard on the 37 that we will be launching in Düsseldorf. Nothing. We want nothing on the dashboard. We want it to be hidden. How can we achieve things like this? One is giving back the driver control in the sense of multifunction steering wheel. So this is a new product that we're developing. We already did this on the Shadows, but now we're bringing it one step further. Because what happens if the buttons are empty and the screens tell you what the buttons do? This in an instant changes that the same button can scroll through menus, can change the music, can adjust trim tabs, can adjust engine trim, can do anything I want on board just by a few push of a buttons. And you don't even need to be looking, where do I have the joysticks, how do I put these on? Everything is just by touch buttons on the steering wheel. So easier driving. I would say we did quite well on the Shadow 500 already. This is the concept, the first generation of it. But we still want more out of this. Also, one thing which probably you could be interested in is also that we are trying to see how can we make a new visual appearance on the product in terms of electronics on board. So powering up your multifunction display today is quite conventional. It's always been product first, producer first, in terms of if it's a Raymarine, if it's a Garmin, if it's a Simrad. But we want it to be an Axopar product, because you're in an Axopar. This is automotive approach. You're getting a BMW, I don't want Bosch to stand up there, because I have no idea what Bosch is in a car anymore, because they are the hidden providers behind it. So I want to bring new usability, new things for the owners on the boats. So we want smart data, we want interactivity, we want to have new functions on board, which we are now looking at in the future with Simrad. One very simple thing is how can I see how much power I'm pushing through the engines? How much torque is the engine generating? What type of critical facts do I need to have? Because today, you need to be a small engineer to find that information out. You need to go on the Mercury menu, sub-menu B, sub-menu C, and then you will see oil pressure. It's always a bit complicated, but just bringing this on one screen is much easier. But the real fun thing is that when we start incorporating, let's say, G-force sensors, then it gets interesting. Because with the G-force sensor, I can actually tell the driver, slow down, you're driving uncomfortable for the passengers, you are probably exceeding the limits of the conditions you are in today. Please be aware of that you are driving in rough conditions. Check that all your passengers are wearing life vests. Check that you're wearing your keel cord. Check that everything is okay with the boat. You are securing everything because now the computer realizes you are driving in rough weather. Also, it can warn you if the boat starts to exceed, if the driver starts to exceed but not having his knowledge of constructional things on the boat that we don't want to have, we don't want people to be hurt on a boat. Other things, cool things. This is already something you have on car. I did a 2-hour trip. At what point did I need the fastest? At what point did I need the slowest? At what point did I have the lowest fuel consumption? Just to have a log, very simple scroll log with the basic information. But also going forward, we can start to have driver-aided configurations. I'm a new boat owner. I have no clue how to trim a boat. I have no clue how to trim the engine. I don't know if 20 or 25 or 35 knots is the best speed for me. This is something the telemetrics will start doing. Today, we see the sea state is calm. We have programmed in that in this sea state you can have easily a cruising speed of 35, all of that, and the automatic takes care of the rest. Again, making boating much easier for the new boaters. The guys who have their 10 boat, their 15 boat already, they know this stuff. But to get, again, new boaters in, we need to eliminate the complexity of driving a boat. All right. So, what are we doing in Cannes further on from today? We want to invite you for the exclusive event that we're going to take place tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We need you to enlist for this because we need to know how many boats we are going to take out. But we have one of the test wheels of the new 37 here doing rough water testing, which will go back to the factory starting on Monday next week. And we want just to show you that product because it's really a good looking product. So we will give you the opportunity to take photos and videos of the product. We can't allow you still to drive the boat, sorry, it's just a 1-hour trip, but you will be able to see in flesh how this product has changed, because it's a huge change from the old one. And it's also quite, let's say, attractive camo also. I love this, the design. But you will be handed out an invitation. And also, please, think if you have the possibility, we know you're very pressed on time. Secondly, what we want you also to be invited for is the official press party. We put on the invite that starts at 4 because more or less we would love to have as many of you on board the boats. But the general party itself starts at 5. And we will be looking at the Finnish, already traditional Nahue gin, which we serve in Cannes and Düsseldorf Boat Show, from the Fura Distillery Company. So if this will be the behavior after, we don't condone you. But we just want to tell you that this is actually why we work with these guys, is that they share the same philosophy as we are. And these are the 5 founders of the company running naked on the field. So that's the whole idea of the motion that we do, when you want to brand something. So it's all or nothing. What we also have, which is very cool here, we do a lot of modeling today in virtual reality. So this is one of the most important tools we have when we do a new product. So you will have a chance to experience the new 37 in virtual reality here during the whole show when you have time. But we felt it will be the best time to do it tomorrow during the gin and tonics. But you will feel free to come here at any time and we will show you. But it's really an experience because you will be walking more or less inside these boats and outside looking at them like you were on these boats in the flesh. And we will be explaining you more than why we use these tools, because they are so imperative for our design work. And we always need a mock-up, a wooden mock-up, but this takes the whole experience into a completely other level. Then again, also we want you to test our boats. We have quite a lot of boats here, 5 in total, which is 4 is going in and out from sea trials all the time. But the number one we want you to drive is the Shadow 500 if you haven't had the time to drive it yet. Also, one thing why we have you here now is that why are we only showing you, why are we teasing you, why aren't we letting you go behind the steering wheel of the product? This is a test wheel. So the hull, the looks of it is there, but nothing else. Seats, dashboard, plotters, steering wheels, everything I just showed you is not the real boat as it will be launched in Düsseldorf in 2020. So we will have a separate event for you in Helsinki in November. So bring your swimming gear and your warm clothes. So this will happen at the 12th and 13th of November. So you are all invited to come. We take care of the hotels. You just need to get on. You just need to find yourself in Helsinki on the 12th, and we promise to take good care of you. So we will have the whole range there available for sea trials and tell you even more about the exciting project that we are now working on. Maybe give you a small glimpse of the future also, but we first need to set the foundation of the company. We first need to set the backbone of our product range until we move forward with new products for the future. Thank you.